It's funny how sometimes the most everyday things, the stuff we see all the time, can hide the most amazing stories. Well, today we're going to see how one super simple word, a word I guarantee you know, unlocks this huge idea about language, communication, and, well, the search for perfect clarity. So, what's this big mystery word? It's stalking. Yep, that's it. Stocking, that ordinary thing you might hang up for the holidays or pull out of a drawer. Seems pretty boring, right? But what if I told you that this one word is actually a secret key, a clue to a massive project that was designed to completely change how the entire world talks to each other? So check this out. If you look up the word stocking in the Simple English Wiktionary, you'll see this weird little note right there at the top. It says, "Stocking is on the Basic English 850 list." Huh. What on earth is that? This is our first big clue. It's like there's some kind of exclusive club of words, a really selective list, and somehow stocking made the cut. And that one little sentence, that one clue, sends us down an absolutely fantastic rabbit hole. Because this isn't just some random list of words somebody threw together. No, it's a whole, carefully designed system. So let's dig in and figure out what this 850-word list is all about. It turns out, this list is the entire foundation of something called Basic English. And what that is a super streamlined version of the English language, kind of stripped down to its absolute core. The whole idea was to create a tool, a simplified but still totally functional language that would be perfect for anyone needing to communicate clearly across different countries and cultures. And here it is, the magic number, 850. The entire theory was that with just these 850 words, you could say pretty much anything you needed to in an everyday conversation. Just think about that for a second. There are over 1 million words in the English language, and the belief here was that this tiny, tiny fraction could do almost all of the heavy lifting. And the ambition behind this was huge. The goals were, first, to make English way easier for people to learn. Second, to create a simple shared language for international business and science. And they even hoped it could promote global peace by just helping us all understand each other better. The core belief driving all of it was really powerful. You don't need a complicated vocabulary to talk about complicated ideas. Okay, so this brings us right back to where we started, to our first clue, stocking. How does this one word fit into a system that's all about efficiency? Well, it's actually the perfect example of how Basic English gets the absolute most value out of its very small vocabulary. So here's how this one little word pulls double duty. As a noun, it's a thing, right? Something you wear. One of my stockings has a hole. Simple. But it's also a verb, an action. It's a form of to stock, like in the sentence, "We are stocking the shelves." See that? One word, two totally different jobs. And that, right there, is the genius of the whole system. It's not just about picking 850 simple words. It's about picking words that are flexible, words that can do 2 or even 3 jobs at once. By putting stocking on the list, the system gets both a noun and a really useful verb in just one slot. It's pure efficiency. It's all about making fewer words work a whole lot harder. This whole idea of efficiency, it wasn't just some clever word game. It was really part of a much bigger philosophy. It was about creating a language that was truly for everyone, a tool that anybody could use, not just people who grew up speaking English. And this isn't some new idea, by the way. It's been around for a while. It was thought up back in the 1920s by a linguist named C.K. Ogden. The list was published in 1930, and then in the 1940s it got a ton of attention as the world was desperately looking for new ways to connect. Now, it never became the universal language, but its core ideas about clarity and simplicity, they're still alive and well today, influencing everything from technical writing to the very simple English Wiki dictionary where our whole journey started. The whole philosophy is just perfectly summed up in its goal: maximum meaning with minimum words. That says it all, right? The entire project was this fascinating experiment in the power of language. It asked a really interesting question. Just how much of the human experience can you truly communicate with just a handful of words? So, as we're wrapping up this little dive into Basic English, let's just take a step back and think about what that one little clue about a simple word really taught us. We started with a stocking, of all things, and we ended up uncovering an entire philosophy of language. It's just a great reminder that making things simple is often way harder, and honestly, way more brilliant than making them complicated. The search for clarity is always a worthwhile goal, in any language.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. If you had the job of building a language from scratch to explain the world, everything that really matters, but you could only use 850 words, which ones would you choose?